Welcome to the Learn to Sew Academy channel. Please remember to subscribe. Thank you.
Welcome to a new tutorial and thank you for tuning in again. I made a circle dress in my last tutorial, and for those that were not able to see the fold well enough, I'm doing this again so you can see how I did the fold. Hopefully this will help you understand the fold better. This circle dress is going to be different in that it's going to have a lining, so it's going to be slightly different from the other one. So what I'm doing here is I've folded this in a way that it gives me a cone shape. I folded it like a triangle. And when I fold, I'm making sure I have my required length. For this dress, I'm going to be needing a length of 45. So when I folded this, first I want to check where I'm going to start to measure from. And the shoulder I need here is 16. This is folded into two. I'm going to cut the front first, then I'll cut the back, just because the fabric I have here is not enough for me to fold it into two and cut the two together. So I'm going to try and manipulate it to get what I want. So I'm going to be using a shoulder of 16. I folded this into two. So I'm going to divide the 16 by 2. That gives me 8. And so I'm just going to look for that 8 plus allowance for joining. So over here I have like 8.75. So I'm just marking where that starts from. And I'm just going to connect those two lines. So from this line is where I want to measure down to make sure I have my 45 inches plus my allowance. I have enough right over there. And I have enough there. Now another thing I want to check before I cut, even though I'm not going to be shaping this, I want to make sure that when I folded this, that it's not going to be too tight at the hip area, but rather it's going to be as free as I want it. So I always make sure to check that. The half length is, I'm not going to be using the half length to cut it, but just to make sure that my hip area is free enough. That's why I'm going to be saying that the half length that I have here is 18 plus 8, that gives me 26. So I'm just going to measure from that line again. I'm going to see where my 26 is, which is around here. So I want to make sure that I have more than enough because it's supposed to be really free. So this is just a check, just to make sure that when you folded this, that you didn't fold it too narrow. And if I needed a shorter length, you can fold this in some more to make this place even freer, or you fold it in a little more if you don't want too much of a flay. But what I have here is just perfect for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to measure for the shoulder, and then I'm going to measure my armhole, and I'm going to be starting from this line that I mark around here. That's going to be my shoulder line. So my shoulder is 16 again. I divide that by 2, it gives me 8. I'm going to start right from the marking here and from the fold. So I'm going to look for my 8 plus half for my allowance, and that is right here. And then from there I'm going to come down. I'm going to come down about 9 inches. And this here is going to be where I'm going to put into consideration my bust. And the bust I'm going to need is 42. So the 42 divided by 4 is 10.5. And I'm going to add my allowance. So I'm just going to use everything I have here. I have 11.5, which will give me like an allowance of 1 inch. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to measure the length I need. I need a length of 45, and I'm going to add whatever allowance I want to add. You can add between 1 to 2 inches allowance. Again, I'm going to be measuring from that shoulder mark that I did. And so I'm just going to connect all the marks that I have on here. Next, I'm going to do my neckline. I use a neckline of 5 inches this way by 3. And that's what I'm just going to join. I'm going to bring it a tiny bit down. I'm just going to do half an inch more. It's just a preference. And as usual, the French cuff can help to do this. And so I'll just cut this out. So I'm going to fold the second one like this, and I'm going to cut exactly the same thing. Now, it's going to depend on what you're doing. You can either put a zipper or you can leave a zipper out of it. If you have your neckline wide enough, then you don't need to add a zipper to the back. But if you feel that you need a zipper, then you can go ahead and add a zipper to the back. In which case, when you refold this, you're going to leave a zipper allowance, meaning that you're going to, when you place this first fabric on it, you're going to leave like 1 to 2 inches extra here. And I'll just demonstrate that real quick. After you fold it, you're going to fold it exactly the same way again. The cone shape, like a triangle. And when you do that, you want to leave your zipper allowance here. If you're going to put a zipper, you'll leave some allowance here when you cut the next fabric. But I'm not going to put a zipper because the neckline is wide enough for me. I've cut the front and the back now. Next, I'm going to cut the sleeves. I'm going to use a length of 16. I fold that into 2. What I'm going to be doing is it's going to slant a little this way. So the bottom part is going to be a little bigger. And then I'm going to bring it in with elastic later on. So I'm going to need 9 for the bottom here. And I'm going to add my seam allowance. I have 9.5 right here. So I'm just going to slant this a little. Cut this out. So I'm going to cut one more exactly like this. Now I have 2 sleeves cut. So next I'm going to do pockets. I'm just going to cut them separately because again I have very limited fabric that I'm going to try and manipulate. So as usual, I just slant my hand anytime I do the pockets, like I've done in several other videos. I slant my hand and I put it as deep or as shallow as I want. If you want a really deep pocket, you move it in. If you want it not too deep, you move your hand back. But you want to slant it, and depending on how wide you want it, if you really want it really big, just spread out your fingers some more, you know, depending on how wide you want it. So I'm just gonna go with this. So that is a good size. I'm gonna cut this and I'll do a second one. I'm gonna open it up. I'm just going to make 2 more. And one other thing I'm going to be doing is for this dress, I'm going to make a lining. Because this fabric is very soft, I'm just going to make a lining. It's very soft and it's very light. You can see through it as well. So I'm just going to make a lining for just the main body of the dress, not for the sleeve. So what I'm going to be doing in the lining is I'm going to make exactly the same thing I have here, but the only difference is I'm going to make it shorter than this length. So I'm going to make it about 3 inches, 2 to 3 inches shorter than the actual length. So that's what we're going to do with the lining. Just cutting exactly the same thing. I'm going to place this on my lining. I'll fold it the same way, place it on it as my template, and I'll cut it. That's all we're doing with the lining. I already cut the lining exactly the same way I cut the main fabric. So first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to join the neckline to the lining like that. Next, I'm going to join the shoulder together. So I'm going to open the seam on both. So this is the front and the back that I'm joining together now at the shoulder. So I'm just going to open up the seams, and then I'm matching the fabric to fabric, lining to lining. And what I'm going to do is just to sew this across and across the other way. And I'm going to come to the other side, and I'm going to do likewise on the other side as well. I've joined the shoulder now, and I just ironed the neckline. So what I'm going to be doing next is to position the pockets. And because I have this lined, I'm going to do the pocket together with the lining. I'm going to do 20 inches from the shoulder. That's what I'm going to use for the pockets. And my 20 inches is around here. So to do the pockets, you want to take one of the pockets and you want to align them right side facing right side. And when you put your pocket, like I always say, you want the pockets to be facing downwards, to be tilting downwards, so that when you sew this, which is what I'm going to be doing next, I'm going to sew this pocket all the way from here down here. When you sew this, and we turn it like this, because this is how it's going to be on the inside of the dress, you can see that the pocket is pointing downwards, so that when you put your hand in, your hand slants in downwards. So we're just going to attach this right there. And what I've done here is what I'll do on all the 4 sides of the dress. And once that is done, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to sew it across from one end here to the other end of the pockets. At this instance, you can either do your sleeve first, or you can go ahead and first do the sides. Because of the measurements I'm working with, the armhole is not too pronounced, and from where your armhole stops, you start to stitch this. I'm going to align my lining well, make sure it's properly aligned on my fabric, and I'm just going to sew it. I'll come down like this, and then when I get here, I'll pivot and I'll go round for the pockets. I'll come over here again, making sure that all of these are properly aligned before I sew these together. Then I'll come down here, I'll pivot again, and I'll sew all the way down. Like I mentioned earlier, the lining is going to be shorter than the main fabric, so that's why I have the lining shorter. So for my lining, I can either turn it in twice so that these edges don't keep fraying, or I can just overlock it. So once I'm done with this side, I'll come to the other side and I'll do the same thing on the other side as well. So if you want to attach the sleeve first, so you just come to the shoulder area and you place your sleeve and you sew it all the way across on one end like that. You come to the other end, you join it all the way across together with this lining. I join it all the way across to the other end, and after that is done, I now bring these two together like so. I'm going to be using elastic to finish up the edge here, so I'm going to leave it like this for now. I'm going to join it from the edge right here all the way to the armpit, and then I'm going to keep sewing it until I come to where I have my zipper. So I'll sew it a little further down here, and then I'll make a pivot and I'll go around like that. I'll sew it all the way here again, and then I'll sew all the way to the end of the dress, and I'll do the same thing on the other side as well. This dress is done, and I've already hemmed the bottom of the dress. I've attached the sleeve. What I need to do now is to put my elastic, and I want to put it here at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a casing. There are two ways I can do it. I can either open up my seam, put my elastic. This is about a 3/4 length elastic. I can put my elastic like this, and I just sew this across and hold it together to the fabric. But when you put your elastic, you want to make sure that this will cover the elastic plus any extra you need to fold in. So we can either do it like this, put my elastic like that, and I just sew across like so, or I can go ahead and do a casing, making sure that I have enough space for this elastic to pass through. I make a casing, folding it like this all across, and then I leave an opening here. I sew all across, and then when I'm almost at the point where I started, I'll stop so that I have an opening, and then using the safety pin I can now pass my elastic across my casing, and then at the end I'll just hold the elastic together. This time it will already be in here. I'll just pull it out, the end of it, and I'll sew this and then put it back in and close up the opening. So those are the two ways we can do this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in my elastic for the two sleeves, and that will complete this dress. This is the sleeve when it's completed. So this brings this tutorial to an end. So I just want to say thank you for watching this video. Please, if you like what you've seen, do leave this video a thumbs up, and please don't forget to subscribe if you have not yet subscribed to this channel. Thank you. See you in my next video. Bye. I do hope this video has been very helpful to you. Please be sure to leave this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please remember to subscribe to this channel and click the bell for notifications. Thank you so much. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye.